And we're here. It's day 3 with Lauren Waters at Adobe.
Yes.
How you doing?
I can't believe it's day 3.
It is, indeed.
This has flown by.
Yeah, it's been incredible. It really has flown by. It does every time. Yeah. But how have you enjoyed it so far?
I've really enjoyed it. I mean, I kind of have mixed emotions because I'm really excited to see the final screens, but I'm sad that it's the last day.
I'm sure everybody's sad.
Yeah.
Let's say hi to a couple people. Hey, Tim, Karina, Eric, thanks for joining us again 3 days in a row. Thanks. I told you, it's my prop. I've worn scarves.
Well, good thing you're not wearing the same shirt day 3.
Or a shamag. Shamag is there. Yeah. So everybody say hi, let us know. We are doing the Chat to Win challenge today. So the way you can participate is basically sign into your Behance account, be active in the chat, ask us questions, drop us emojis, say hi, let us know where you're from, let us know what time it is, maybe even what you're doing, what you're interested in. Hey, Rasim, thanks for joining us. Hi, Samantha. It's great seeing you yesterday. Tom, thanks for joining us. And we are here, day 3, with Lauren Waters. Lauren Waters comes from San Diego.
Yes, I'm currently in San Diego. I've been there for about 10 years now, which is crazy. And I'm working on an online banking platform for desktop and mobile and just doing user experience down there.
Awesome.
UI, UX down there, yeah.
That's wonderful. And I'm Mark Risen. I'm a local designer here in San Francisco. I come in and host and design with Adobe XD so graciously.
Hi, Hiba.
Every time to time. And I'm currently working on a product called Matter in San Francisco, which is focused on helping professionals and young professionals grow their skills through feedback. So we're day 2. We spent a couple days. We can probably do a quick rewind and just kind of sum up progress over the last couple days.
Okay.
Just to let everybody know, we're also going to be doing a portfolio review towards the end of the segment. So there will be no design challenge today, but we will be taking a couple portfolios, and Lauren and myself will help provide critique, constructive criticism, high fives, praise, affirmation, you name it, but anything we can do to help push your work along.
Yep, so yesterday we were continuing to work on the wireframes for desktop and mobile, and I finished up the wireframes, so then I started on UI, and I was looking at a few sites for color inspiration and fonts, and then we decided on Mooly for a font. And so I went ahead and I put Mooly in all of these screens that I have up here in the wireframes. And actually last night I went ahead and I inputted my colors in my left panel over here, just so we could get started today and have them already in there. And I mentioned the last 2 days that I wanted to have more uplifting colors, like very bright and lively, because the elephant's backstory is so heavy that I wanted to keep the app and the website a little bit lighter to focus on their progress. So I went ahead and did that, and then I put in my character styles for typography over here as well. And just to do this, you can easily go in your artboard and pick whatever font you want to use and then select it. And you can just add the plus sign over here to add a style for each of these elements. And then I also added a couple symbols over here, like the link style, the article component, a couple buttons. And I might be adding a little bit more as I continue to do the UI today. And we will finish the UI, and then I'm gonna prototype the mobile app.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There was a question from Rasim, which is how you decide on background colors.
Background colors? Mm-hmm. So like for buttons and...
I don't know.
Well, my background...
Ask a clarifying question.
Okay.
Yeah, Rasim, just let us know specifically what you're looking for in regards to background colors, if it's kind of, I guess, the full web page or maybe images. Yeah, just clarify a little bit so we can help to make sure we answer your question.
I think he's the guy that won.
He is.
Won yesterday.
Yeah, he is.
Welcome back. Well, for background colors on this site, I'm doing white, and then I'm doing a few gray backgrounds just to break up the page a little bit and make sure the sections are visible. So I don't tend to use other background colors besides white and gray typically. Sometimes maybe I'll use a color for a certain section, but other than that, I like to stay pretty clean with white.
Hi, Kiara. Eric, thanks for joining us. So just, I know I mentioned earlier, we are doing the portfolio review. You can submit your portfolio to us today. So just click on the third tab where normally the challenge tab is, and you'll be able to find the information and the link on how to submit your portfolio for review there. So as Lauren mentioned, we're going through the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. We spent a couple days doing some wireframes, and now we're going to be jumping into design. Anything else that you'd like to share? Anything, I mean, looking back on the past couple days, how's progress? I feel like you moved really, really quickly and did a lot of great work in a really short amount of time. I think, you know, it's only been about 4 hours in total, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to think about, but I feel pretty good about where we came. I mean, I did, after the first 2 sessions later on at night, I would go back and update a few things, but I think overall it moved pretty well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and start jumping into the UI. So I have the hero image up here already with the headline and the 2 buttons. And so I'm just gonna work my way down this page, and so I wanted to define the buttons. The foster button will always be teal and the donate button will be purple. So I actually don't have a color for these buttons yet since they're different subjects, but I'm gonna go ahead and define those. So
Joseph asked if you have a design hero.
a design hero. Oh, someone asked that yesterday, or
Yeah, we had a
design
similar
names,
question inspired by
but
designers.
yeah, you mentioned a couple names. I'm pretty bad with names. I just tend to follow a bunch of people on social media and see what they're up to. But
Yeah, just to clarify, so somebody asked yesterday some artists that inspired, and so when I think of artists, I definitely mentioned a couple local artists here. Heather Day being one of the mural painters that is in San Francisco. Also, Serge Gay is a personal friend. We went to college together. He's an amazing illustrator and painter in San Francisco. I think when it comes to design, yeah, I think I mentioned Dan Petty. Also, Meg Robichaud is a really wonderful illustrator and designer. Also, Karam Sewer is another good, inspiring designer. Definitely got to learn more about those people this past week, and really, really wonderful people and great people to learn from.
awesome. So here I'm just kind of adjusting my buttons to make sure that they're the same height and corner radius as my buttons up there. And I think I'm gonna do a pink button for the Orphans Project. And an orange button. Actually, I'm gonna do an outline button for this one. And for the text, I'm just using this almost black color. It's not all the way black. It's like a very, very dark gray. I don't like using black because I think I also read somewhere that having all the way black text on a white background can be a little bit harsh. So it just softens it up a little bit.
Munir, that's a really great question. Can you help clarify also just what you mean by process for UX project in Behance? Like more specifically, are you asking about uploading the work or demonstrating or showing the work? Be really good just to let us know.
And I'm gonna throw in a picture here.
I hope it's of an elephant. Please be of an elephant. Please be of
If it's not of an elephant, I'd be very worried. Oh, this looks like a cute one.
Oh, that's adorable.
They wear these little blankets when they first come into the nursery because it keeps them warm, and it also replicates just being around like a family and having that warmth and comfort of that, since they most of them have lost their mother. So it just helps them feel more comfortable, and I love that. Some of them have this little copyright symbol in the bottom of the photo, but I'm just gonna ignore that for now. And then the next section I'm going to focus on is the newest orphan arrival, and they have this on their current website, but it just features whoever was found last or newest. So the newest orphan arrival her name is Tyree, and she was found in the Voy River, and her reason for being orphaned was drought related. So.
Okay. So Munir clarified his question. So in regards to presenting the work in Behance, like what we will start first, such as UX research, wireframes, personas, prototyping. So I think in general, the question is around how do you like presenting your work from a process perspective in regards to UX?
How do I like presenting my work? I'll usually throw my screens into InVision, and then from there I can share. There's like a share link that you can send out, and that's how I usually do it, especially at work, because it's easy just to send a link in an email or in a chat window. So that's how I do it.
So Munir, for me, like I think you're touching on a lot of things: research, wireframes, personas. I think it really depends on who the audience is, meaning how you want people to view the work and perceive the work. If you really want to demonstrate your process, you also want to make sure that you show the research in a way that is digestible, maybe not a lot of text. So in that case, like charts and graphs can be really helpful. I think showing personas is definitely a useful way to demonstrate the people you're trying to solve the problem for. So I think that's definitely appropriate. I think a lot of times it's really great just to talk about the problem you're trying to solve and how you approach that and what your process was in doing so. So if it involved research, maybe it involved going out and asking users questions and doing usability tests. Anything that really demonstrates how you work and how you think, I think is going to be a huge win. So Dorina, the portfolio review is going to be at the end of the segment, probably in the last 30 minutes. We'll be doing the portfolio review, and you can submit your portfolio in the portfolio review tab in the chat window. So I was going to ask, when you're picking kind of the button colors, do you have a system in mind? Are you thinking about certain buttons as certain colors? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so like I think did I mention it already? I defined the Foster button to be this teal, and then whenever I use a Foster button, it's going to be that
Awesome.
teal color. And then the Donate button will always be purple. And then Orphans Project will be this pink, and About Us has an outline.
Okay, great. Great question, Munir. Thanks for asking. Let us know if you guys have any more questions, especially for Lauren.
The professional Lauren, right?
Mm-hmm. Not to get confused with the unprofessional Lauren.
Hey.
I mean, I'm not. It doesn't have to be you. It could be like somebody else. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I need to make sure to finish my sentences when I talk.
You need to clarify.
Clarify.
I'm also defining my links as this purple color, and then it has a little arrow with a circle around it. Look at that.
Yeah, it's funny that you found a photo of me that had the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust tagged in it with an elephant.
Oh yeah, I was
in Chiang Mai.
wondering. Why did you tag them?
I think that they were actually part of the foundation.
Oh really?
I think that
Okay.
I think that I had, unbeknownst to me, had actually worked with David Sheldrick
Oh.
Wildlife Trust.
Okay.
Crazy. Samantha says hi. Hey Matthew, thanks for joining us. Munir, I'm definitely not your poster child for like the best Behance portfolio right
Me
now.
neither, actually.
Yeah, I actually get a little bit overwhelmed with how great everybody does their presentations on Behance, and it just kind of stifles me a little bit because there's a lot of really, really great work on there.
So I just pulled these images from their Facebook page. If you go to their page, they have a ton of these really high quality images. So I just went through and picked ones that I liked, and then put them in a folder. And then so that's what I'm pulling from right now.
I don't believe that, Eric. There's a lot of people that are really, really good, but thank you. We're getting some great questions in the community. Please continue to ask us more questions about UI, UX, anything you'd like to know about Lauren and her process. As mentioned previously, we're going to be kind of going through the final design portion, or you are. I just get to sit here. But you're going to go through the final design portion of the redesign that you're doing for the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, which we've mentioned.
Yes.
And and then it sounds like towards the end we'll be getting the mobile prototype put together.
I love how when you drag an image into a shape, it goes directly into the shape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
you don't have to mask it or anything.
Yeah, we've touched on a lot of little delighters, like repeat grid. Also, like if you drag images into a repeat grid shape, it'll crop all those images automatically. There's a lot of really nice details and subtleties that go into Adobe's XD that I think definitely just show the intention behind the team and the talented group of people that are working on it, but also what they want for us as designers. When I think of delight or delighters, I classify them a lot of times as the things that you don't necessarily have to think about, but somebody else put the thought and intention to kind of make that process that much better for you. It doesn't always have to be exploding confetti, and although that's really fun too. We have exploding confetti. Thank you, Racine. Really appreciate it. So how do you create matching color theme or color range? Do you use tools for that?
Yeah, I think I showed it yesterday, but there's a ton of websites, but I like to use this one for gradients. So as you can see, I think I pulled this one or something similar to that one. And then I just went through and picked ones that had different tones to it. Like I'm not going to pick ones that are all orange or all purple or something like that. So, and then there's also, what is it? Adobe Color. What's the Adobe Color something?
Oh, the mobile app?
There's this Adobe Color CC. So you can drag these around and then it will just kind of choose a color palette for you, but you can just drag them around. And yeah, I also just look up on Google. I'll type in color themes or color palettes.
Yeah, sometimes if I'm browsing and I see like an image in a magazine, or if I see a photo that I really like the colors in real life, I like to pick the colors from there. And Adobe now has an app that augments that right away for you, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But I find that that's a unique way to kind of stumble upon refreshing color palettes. I think one thing we didn't touch on in regards to color is just how they potentially relate to the product and or the brand. And just, you know, one of the things that you described with your current project was kind of the earthy tones, and you know, you felt like it could use an update. And so what you're doing is you're bringing more color into kind of their brand and bringing a little bit more life. How are we doing?
I'm trying to focus. Sorry, I'm being a little bit quiet.
That's great.
But
we can always put some questions back to the community and let us know if they have any questions for us. Happy to answer. So it sounds like a little bit of your process is going to be completing the final design of the landing page and then maybe transferring that over into mobile.
yes. Yeah, so once I get the desktop pages down, it shouldn't be too hard to transfer it over to mobile, just because I'll have the content in there. And sometimes if I'm looking for an image, like for example, I'm looking for this book image. I'm sure people know this, but you can just inspect the website and then find the image in here under sources.
Also, we're less than 10 minutes away for our countdown for the chat to win. So for those of you that have been chatting and asking questions, Eric, Rasim, thank you. Drop us an emoji, say hi. Definitely any questions you have for Lauren definitely helps. But what we'd really like to do is just hear from you guys. Let us know who's in the chat. That basically enters you into the chance to win a moo.com gift card. So moo.com is basically a resource for you to, I think it's all kinds of stationery, but definitely focused on business cards, which is a great way for you to get your career started, but also a great way for you to kind of have one of your first design projects kind of come to life in real life. So let us know where you're from in the chat, say hi, ask us questions, and you'll be entered to win the moo.com gift card. What's your favorite snack while designing?
My favorite snack, oh man. I really like chips, and I really like kettle corn. Those are probably my two favorites. And I eat way too much kettle corn in bed, and then it gets crumbs everywhere. My husband gets mad at me, but
I don't think mine's a good. I think mine would probably be ice chips.
what are ice chips?
Like just pieces of ice. I just like snacking on ice,
seriously?
which is not good for your teeth. Yeah.
My mom actually does that, or she did do that.
But I think I learned fairly early on, if I eat while I'm working, I get really sleepy. So I try to. I take that whole like stay hungry very literally when I'm doing work, which means like it's probably best to have like a little bit of hunger while you're working because it helps keep you awake. Because if I eat a meal, I'll just be like falling asleep.
I don't know about that. I mean, if I'm too hungry, I
just made it up.
I get hangry. So.
Joseph also has an ice chip addiction. We're not alone.
What's your favorite chip? I would like to know.
Ones of the water variety, the icy kind. He said ice chips.
Tasty. Oh, he said the ice chip addiction. Yeah. Okay. What if you froze like flavored water?
That'd be good. Like fruit flavored water, or like
anything.
like beef broth flavored.
I don't know about
I don't want
that.
the beef broth. All right.
It's a little too far.
Hi, Lance. Guys, we're 5 minutes away from the chat to win, which everyone knows unleashes an incredible cinematic sequence just before we pick our winner. So stay tuned.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that.
But yeah, less than 5. Hey, Eric. Thanks for joining us from the Netherlands. Popsicles totally classifies an ice chip category, Andrea. See, Matthew gets it. Moo to win. Let's do this.
Like literally moo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go.
The moo-moos. It's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
All right. Yeah, whenever we travel, we see cows in like the plains. We always go moo-moos. Would you say moo-moos? Yeah. I should stop talking for a little
Yeah,
bit.
you probably should. Okay, I can't find what I'm looking for, but oh, here we go. All right, so actually, I think I've oh, no, I need to do the footer.
Allison, thanks for joining us. Cavacchioni.
I'm actually feeling
Hello
like
from
I
Portland.
want
Hi,
to
Nicole.
pull a purple gradient for the footer.
Hey,
Purple and
Gabriel.
blue.
Thanks for joining us again. So I know we talked a little bit about delighters, but I'm curious if anybody else has any favorite things that they've discovered in XD that are kind of maybe have delighted them. I know someone mentioned earlier there's a lot of great improved quality of life experiences in XD. But yeah, let us know what some of your favorite features are. There's also a whole community behind kind of ideas for new updates and desirable features for XD. Adobe libraries. Yeah, the
That's a
Creative
good
Cloud
one.
libraries, definitely a favorite. So Eric asked, you dragged and dropped a picture by picture in a series. Is there a way to automate by selecting multiple pictures? There is, Eric. If you use the repeat grid, you can drag and drop the images into all the containers.
But you would have to have your images in order?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're trying to, in this context, if you're trying to drag and drop images into every container,
That design is lit. Oh, hi, Maury. That's one of my coworkers.
so yeah, you have to do it one by one here. Some ways you can improve that is having your Finder window open next to it, or you can have all the images uploaded in like the CC library, and you can just drag and drop them in quickly over there. Less than a minute away for the chat to win. Let's make some noise. Let's drop some emojis. Mari's already setting it on fire over here. So let's go. Lens, thank you so much for joining us. And Matthew says, this design is great inspiration.
Oh, thank
So
you.
thank you.
That makes me happy. This just happened. Do you know why this is happening? So I know it's a style that I put as a symbol over here, but now it's moving both.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want it to do that.
Is it a grouped component?
No.
Are they the same? You can, so if you should be able to
wait, no,
ungroup it.
it's- Oh, no. That's weird. Oh, jeez.
And that's it. It's time for the
It's
best
time.
animation sequence ever. Let's go. And we're back. Transported, in fact. I know, I love all the pew-pews. All right, so anybody that says... No, I can't.
Hiba's mooing. She should win for that.
Fireworks. Awesome. Chat to Win is seriously like one of the best animation sequences. Also the main intro sequence.
I agree.
Yeah, I can't say enough positive things about all the animation sequences we have. So we're going to randomly select a winner. Thank you so much for making the chat all aflutter. Lauren, would you like to announce our randomly selected person soon as it shows up on the teleprompter? Hold on to your seats and your keyboards. And I'm just gonna start sweating over here. All right. Anybody else? I'm just wondering if there's... Oh, Mari joined us.
Yep. April Fools, there was no winner. Just
That's
kidding.
not...
That's
no,
a joke.
Gus isn't here today. We wish Gus was here. Gus is not here, but what we do have is we do have a winner.
We have a winner. And I need help with this one. Darag Brennan.
Darag Brennan. Congratulations, Shayla. You did it. You get your free $30 gift card to moo.com. And share your designs. Let us know what you come up with for your business card. It's going to be really great to see what you come up with. So thank you so much for participating, Darag. Thanks for joining us. Looks like you need an avatar in there, so we're really excited to see your face. And thank you, everybody. I think Tim will probably drop a link in later on, as he has been all week, about the other ongoing benefits with Adobe and moo.com. If you guys would like to get a discount. So thanks so much. Thanks for being active. Continue to ask us questions. We're still here. We got time.
Yeah.
And we also have Michael Chase and Josh Iwata joining us for the segment after Lauren today. So we'll show the schedule a little bit later on. But definitely stick around. Josh has been doing some great work. I checked out his video yesterday. Super, super talented designer. Also enjoys white space and cleanliness and simplicity.
Excellent.
So stick around.
So I am done with this page, although I still haven't figured out the issue here. What do you mean when a symbol is grouped?
Well, if they're both responding together, then it means that they must be the same component, like a symbol.
Right, but that's what I want it to be.
And you want them to both, even though you have the same text, you're trying to have them have the same distance?
No, so it depends on the text, how long it is, how far away the...
Yeah, so in this case, I think you want to select it, and then you want to... there should be an option to ungroup it or detach it from the symbol, but it's asking you to make symbol.
It is a symbol. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Or here. Well.
So yeah, it's like for it to work as a component, they all have to be as a symbol, they all have to be the same.
Oh, they all have to be the same. Okay.
So that's why I was saying you almost want to create a new symbol for the additional one.
Okay.
Or
maybe it's because
you could break it down into components and just have just the icon be the symbol that you drag in, and then drag it next to the text or something.
Okay.
Congratulations, Darag Brennan, for winning the Chat to Win. We'll have another Chat to Win coming up in the next segment with Josh and Michael.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next page, which is the newest orphan arrival page. And this would be the same template for any orphan story page, but I'm going to focus on the newest orphan arrival, and I'm going to throw in a photo here. If you double click inside the shape that you dragged the photo into, you can resize the image as well.
So Hiba asked, usually at what age do orphan elephants arrive?
It really depends. I mean, I think the youngest one that's arrived has been maybe like 2 months or so. So really, really young. And then some of them can be 2 to 3 years old. It just depends on when something happens to them. I mean, you can't really plan that.
Rasim, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for being a positive contributor and just chatting in the community. It's been great to have you. So looking forward to seeing you next time. Appreciate it.
Is there a way to flip an image?
Like horizontal?
Yeah, like there is.
Actually, I'm trying to think. What if you just drag the image into the composition, not into the shape? Like if you just have it off to the side, are you able to edit it there? Otherwise, I would say I would probably open it in Photoshop and then flip it and copy and paste.
Yeah, just because I don't want his face getting cut off by this one.
We've been blocked.
Okay.
Yep, flip might not be an option yet.
Okay.
Gabriel wants to know, how do you deal with know-it-all clients concerning interaction?
I mean, it is hard to deal with sometimes, but if someone is paying you to do something and they know they want it a certain way, I would, try your best to sway them in the direction that you want them to go, but ultimately it is kind of up to the client if they're the ones paying you. So, but back your designs up. I mean, if there's research or data on why you think a design should be a certain way, then I would present that to them. And then if that still doesn't work, then you might just have to live with that.
It's such a tough question to answer, though, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there's so many
is.
things. It could be you need to ask yourself, like, if ego comes into the equation, or if there's a sense of pride. I think you brought up some really, really great points, which is, can it be validated in some way? Can you kind of remove the bias from the equation? But I think at certain points it's always okay to say no, and then at some points it's also okay just to kind of move throughout the process, as you said, especially if if there's something that you don't feel too strongly about. But yeah, really great answers.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I'm presenting a design to stakeholders at my company or anyone that, like business owners, our team tries to use as much data as we can and as much research that we've found, just to show that it's not our own opinion and that it's actual facts. So that's been helpful.
Matthew would like to know, what is your favorite research method?
My favorite research method. Fire know-it-all clients. Okay. I would say my research method is, just the internet, really. And also doing like sessions with customers or going out in public and just asking real live people what their opinion is on a certain subject or yeah.
Great
What about
stuff.
you?
I like contextual inquiries. I like putting something in front of a customer and saying, okay, this is the use case. Somebody just told you about this product. What do you do? And just watching how the customer kind of goes through the experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think also just really good like in-depth interviews where you actually have framed outcomes and goals and questions that you want to ask can also be equally beneficial. Sending out things like surveys and just having people click through stuff can be really good validation for some types of things for data. So far, we've got 3 submissions for the portfolio review. Thank you, everybody that's submitted. If you're trying to figure out where to submit your portfolio review, that can happen in the 3rd tab view in the chat window that you're all so beautifully sharing with us. So just click in there, you'll find a Google link to submit your portfolio. And Lauren and I will spend some time in the next 50 minutes going over some portfolios. And that's how we'll wrap up our session today. Tim, I've got access to the page. I've got, that's how many submissions I have on here. If, I could be.
The wrong doc.
Is it the wrong doc?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I thought it was the same one we had yesterday. All right.
He might have emailed it to you. If not, let me double check.
Okay, I'll check it out. Tim, I'm talking crazy things over here, so.
I might be reusing a couple of these photos on pages just because I didn't have time to kind of pick 100 photos out, but it's okay. You guys get the idea. This is a really great photo.
Oh, wow. Just having a good time.
Yeah.
It is because of the ice chips. It's freezing my ability to process right now. Yeah, just let me know how to get the doc to me, Paco, if you like.
Yeah. Log into August right now. Hang tight.
It's a good thing Tim's here. Tim, one of these days we're going to meet in person, and I'm going to give you the biggest high five ever for all the help that you do in the chat feed. Tim's great. We all need to give Tim some love because Tim's been a constant presence in this chat feed since I've been a part of doing Adobe XD. Yeah. Soon, very soon.
So at the top of this page, since there isn't a hero image, I wanted to do kind of an organic gradient shape at the top. Like a few overlapping ones maybe, just to break up the white space a little bit.
Check us.
All right, yeah, I've got the link now. Boom. Airdrop. Magic. Tim, thanks for holding it down. As the Chat Lord Dungeon Master, Adobe Live Master. Oh wow, that's beautiful.
Thank you. Actually, that's not. I messed with this the other day and I got it looking really good, so I'm trying to see if I can replicate that right now.
So Kiara, Lauren used the typeface called Muli, M-U-L-I.
Yes.
And yeah, it's great. It's
I'm
got
loving
rounded
it.
corners on
Yeah.
it. It's a relatively clean sans serif font. Really nice spacing, really good legibility. It also has a lot of different font styles that you can choose from kind of thin all the way up to heavy, I think. So
Yeah,
good
I think
stuff.
there's about 12 different weights or so, which is pretty good because usually fonts have maybe like 6 or definitely not that many.
Jason, thanks for joining us. And thank you for letting Lauren know that the design looks great.
Thank you.
Hi, Tiffany. Thanks for coming in for day 3.
I might just grab the other one that I did before because on the spot I'm having a little bit of trouble getting it to how it looked before. So if you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna grab it from over here.
Joseph says, fantastic work.
Thank you, Joseph. Means a lot. Okay, there we go.
Did anything, you know, you're making some really, really beautiful and wonderful design choices as you're kind of picking the aesthetics and you're taking this into UI. You know, are you like plucking these things just from your brain right now? Are there things that have inspired you that you've seen? Like I wanted to also turn and ask the community, you know, like what's currently inspiring them? What do they see in regards to trends? But I mean, for you specifically, you're making really, really pragmatic choices and really nice aesthetic choices. And, you know, just to help everybody that's participating, it could just be talent, but also, you know, like what inspired these? What's your process or what's your train of thought and how you kind of arrive at this is a solution that, you know, you feel really confident about?
Yeah, so I mean, I was browsing inspiration sites the past couple days, and I feel like this is a pretty big trend right now to have just the organic shapes throughout the pages. And I really like that. I feel like, especially with such a white page here and just a lot of text, it adds a really nice element up top, and it also just makes it look exciting to me. And I really like, I think I showed you guys yesterday, but I go on like Pinterest or Behance, and then I browse through here, and I pick out little elements from designs that I like. I mean, as you can see here, there's similar gradient type things, and
No, that's great. And I think that's so important to share with people about
Yeah.
your aesthetic process too. What inspires you? How do you make these decisions of what to put where? And how I think
Yes.
that's really great for everyone to hear as well.
Yeah, I think having little pops of color on a page, especially if you have black and white, looks really nice.
Artem asked if you always move the object manually. I think he might have been referring to maybe when you were pulling
Oh, okay.
the nodes.
I do, yeah, because, so just to show you guys, I started off with the ellipse shape, and then I just dragged it out like this and added a gradient. And if you double click on it, it'll come up with these little points all around, and then you can just maneuver them to how you want it to look. And sometimes I spend a good amount of time on this. That's why I pulled this one from my other design, but it takes a little time to get it looking exactly like how you want it. But I like to do it that way, because if you pull it from something that's already designed, I feel like it's not your own. So. And here I'm gonna pull that same purple Foster button, teal button from the symbols.
Oh, okay. So just to clarify, Artem was also asking about kind of how you're center aligning and manually arranging things, like grabbing objects, placing pixels, things like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, for this top part, I'm doing a center align. And to center everything, you can just use these guides that they have in XD. It makes it super simple just to drag things around and make sure they're placed in the correct padding and directly in the center.
Kiara, that's a really wonderful philosophy. I'm curious if you have anybody that you'd like to share, or anybody that exemplifies what you're describing, which is kind of taking new approaches to web design, but maintaining classical rules. What up, 7up?
I'm just using free icons too. Sometimes when you have to make sure that you can use them if you're actually going to do something for a client, but a really good free website for icons is flaticon.com. And you can just search, like right now I need a drop-down arrow. And they have a ton of icons you can download in all the different formats, like SVG, PNG,
So Manir, yeah, Warren used the grid system for the first 2 days while doing the wireframe, using 12 column
Yes.
column grid.
I can turn it on right here. So I believe this is a 1440 width grid, and then it has 12 columns with like 30 pixel padding in between or so, maybe less than that. But you can easily create your grid over in this panel to the right over here.
Hey Jed, thanks for joining us. all the way from the Philippines in the 7,001 Islands.
Oh, cool.
I've never been. Someday.
Me neither.
Johnny Vino. Yeah, I think Johnny Vino was a guest on here, Kiara. Maybe once or twice. So we're maintaining the green buttons for the Foster,
Yes.
which is kind of
Keeping
like your
it
own system.
Cohesive.
Mhm.
Yep. And then also maintaining the purple link when I need it. Oh, it looks really big.
So guys, we got about an hour left. We've got 30 minutes left with Lauren to spend on doing UX and UI. And then we're going to spend the last 30, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes going over some portfolio reviews. So please make sure to submit your portfolios. You can find the link in the portfolio review tab in the chat link. We'd love to see your work. We'd love that you're open to sharing and being accepting of the feedback. Feedback's definitely a gift, but also we're going to help our best to kind of provide constructive and beneficial critique. So yeah, let us know what you have. Please share it over. Be great.
So I'm actually on the last desktop page that I'm going to be doing, and then I'm going to jump over to the mobile screens and use the same design system or design elements that I've been using for the desktop.
Gabriel says that footer poppy. I think that's how he said it. I mean, I was translating, but it was somewhere along those lines.
Didn't really make sense when you said it.
I think maybe I need more coffee.
I don't think you need more
No?
coffee.
Okay. All right. Should just put my helmet on.
Yeah. I hope you meant like poppy, like it's poppin', not misspelling a different word.
No, poppy.
Okay.
That footer poppy.
Okay. Well,
It's popping.
I guess I'm not with it.
I don't know what the kids say these days. Tim, that's a great idea. If we could fill the helmet with coffee.
Ooh,
Yes.
I think that's a bad idea.
Oh. So you thought
What's happening?
It's Thursday. We're on day 3. It's been an amazing week.
It has.
We've had Lauren Waters here working on the redesign for the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. 2 days. So please go back and check the last 2 videos done on Tuesday and Wednesday, where we spent time going through wireframes on both mobile and web. It's very rare to see someone's workflow going in through both platforms, or at least both mediums. It's definitely something that I'm hugely passionate about, and definitely feel like everybody should work into their workflow, because you're going to surface a lot of not only like solutions, but you're going to arrive at better solutions by working on both web and mobile. So it's been wonderful, and thank you so much. And it's amazing how much work has gotten accomplished over the last 3 days.
Yeah, it really is. It's coming together now. I'm gonna find some icons for this section, which is telling the user what they're gonna get when they foster an orphan. So they get 6 different things, and I'm going to try and find an icon that is appropriate for each section. Certificate, let's see.
Saeed, thanks for joining us. Jan, thanks for joining. Anybody else have any questions in regards to UI, UX? Anything about Lauren's process? Please ask away.
I'm going to come back to those icons. I'm going to start on mobile now.
Awesome. Let's do it. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could just take the screen and just go, and then it was done?
Isn't there something like that? Or no?
There are some plugins, I'm sure. But you'd still have to define kind of like the
Text sizes.
Yeah, the overall dimensions of the document, and then kind of you need to create the fixed positions of where they are persistent and things like that. So Zach asked, do you ever design your own icons? Through all my years as a designer, I've only made a couple very simple ones.
Yeah, I was going to mention, as I was looking through that website of icons, I would recommend if you can create your own icons. But for me, I've never been the best at creating icons. So I usually try and find some that are licensed to be able to use on a website. And I would love to try and get into making my own icon set, though. I think you should definitely try and do that.
Yeah, personally, I've definitely made icons before. I think it's just a matter of, again, what's the goal? Is the goal to kind of create something entirely from scratch and do a brand or a product from the ground up? It's a great opportunity to do the own icons. If you're kind of working with existing paradigms and things that are already designed, sometimes your efforts can be spent elsewhere. So really good trade-off. Great question, Zach, and thanks for joining us. So Saeed asked, did we do research in the previous episodes before going into UI on this project?
So I didn't really go over that all that much, but I researched it a bit myself, and I already know a good amount about this organization. So I used the information that I already knew, and then I went through their website, and I always get emails from their blog and updates on orphans, and just looking through social media comments, I can tell who the audience is, and so I feel like I had what I needed for the research part when I started. If I didn't know anything about this organization, I would definitely do much more research on it to define my audience and the goal of the project and all that stuff. But
yeah, so the community also would like to know UX, UI books or any recommendations that we have.
I feel like there's a lot. What's that one? It's like Make It Stick or something. It's basically, let's see if
Make It Stick is a book.
Okay.
Drawing on cognitive psychology.
Yes.
And other fields.
Yeah. So that's a good one for if you want to be designing something that really sticks with the user, like how the title says. But it just shows you, it has a lot more psychology to how you design and why you should be designing a certain way. So I think it's interesting reading the psychology behind how things are designed, because it definitely does have a huge impact.
So I'm on my computer because I just had a friend, there's an article that came out on Fast Company, which I can drop in the chat feed, but it's a reading guide for designers. So I'll chat that in there. I think some favorite books for me real quick are Don't Make Me Think. It's a little bit old, but still relative and definitely goes into cognitive psychology. Think Better is also a really good one. Most recently, I just read a book called by Anne Lamott called Bird by Bird. I'm trying to grow on content writing this year, and so this is a book that is aimed at gearing or helping you structure how to get better at writing and what are the steps that you can do. Let's see what else. I think there's also other interesting books that might not be necessarily geared or focused specifically at UX UI, but you can extract from there. So if you ever look into like Wabi Sabi or some of the philosophies around like Japanese interior design and things like that, you can definitely find inspiration
Like feng shui.
yeah, Wabi Sabi is a little bit different. So Wabi Sabi is, I think, is this idea of like creating chaos amidst beauty. And so it's kind of like having something a little bit off or odd in a situation in order to create that contrast. So yeah, there's some really good stuff. So I'm going to drop that.
There's also a lot of podcasts. If you just go on the podcast app on the iPhone and type in design or whatever you want to search, there's a ton of podcasts on there. Like there's Design Matters. Trying to think of the other titles. I have a list of them somewhere. But podcasts are a good one too.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other books. That I've read recently. Think Better. Radical Candor by Kim Scott. Nothing to do with design, but everything about soft skills and just working well with others. Maybe more management geared. What else? Yeah, great question.
I feel like I have so many, it's hard to think on the spot.
Yeah, I just got done reading. Oh, I'm reading in the middle of. I read *Sapiens*, and now I'm on *Homo Deus*, which is pretty interesting. It's just all about humans.
Who's the author?
I could not pronounce it for my life. Great question, y'all.
I wanted to include a video part in the media gallery too, just because there's so many great videos. Like David Sheldrick always does a video on every orphan that arrives, and you can watch their story and like how they were rescued and then the progress they've made. So I wanted to include that on this page. Because instead, some people don't like to read the whole story, so it's really nice to have a visual video for them to watch.
And we're about 20 minutes away from the portfolio review.
Oh.
I've definitely heard of Thinking Fast and Slow, Kiara. Had that book recommended a couple times.
What?
There's
I
a
heard
room
a
over
noise.
there.
I love this photo too. So I didn't even mention this, but they also have other animal orphans. They have a couple others. They have this giraffe, and his name is Kiko. And then they also have a rhino, and his name is Maxwell. So they do take in other animals if they find them, but their main focus is on elephants.
Adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a giraffe so tiny.
I'll show you an even cuter picture.
Oh man.
I love their eyelashes.
Fierce. So, we've spent some time designing the website. We're moving into mobile. I know you mentioned you intend on kind of maybe clicking together some prototypes.
Yes.
How are you feeling overall, just in regards to progress, the outcome? You know, you've had a couple days to kind of go and do some work, and now you're kind of coming back to it. Just share a little bit about how you feel about the process.
I feel pretty good about it. I mean, I made it pretty simple for myself where I created these components, and so it makes it a lot easier to get all these screens done because they're all similar in a way, and I've used repeat components in a lot of screens, so it'll speed up the process a little bit. And it may sound like repeat components could be boring and like all the pages will look the same, but I think it actually works out because you're not always looking at pages side to side like you are here. You're clicking through it individually on your phone, so you don't notice it as much.
Awesome.
But yeah, I'm feeling good.
Great.
Actually, yesterday, I forgot to mention, I threw in this bottom nav bar here, and I found icons for each section. So we have the Home tab, we have the Foster tab, the Donate tab, Orphan tab, and My Orphans.
So, and just before we've got another less than still 20 minutes, about 18 minutes before we get into portfolio review. Let's just throw up the schedule real quick just to let everybody know that Josh and Michael are coming up next. We definitely want you guys to stick around, and that'll be the end of UI UX and Adobe XD this week. But I'm sure there's going to be another one coming up, so stick around until 1 p.m. So I'll let you, if you need to do some focus time.
Yeah, I'm trying to focus a little bit, just because I want to get all these done and then be able to show the final product at the end. So keep talking.
Focus mode. Does anybody have any questions for me? I'm happy to answer some questions. Should be good. Books question is a good one. I always discover something new whenever somebody shares books that they're reading. I got The Bird by Bird recommended to me from a friend.
What is that about?
It's about becoming a better writer.
Oh, right.
And the steps that you take.
Trying to improve your content.
Steps that you take to get more comfortable writing and making it a daily practice.
So what have you learned so far?
So one of the things they say is you should pick the same time every day, like maybe in the morning, 8 a.m., and just sit down and try to write. And just write whatever comes to mind. And sometimes it can mean, thinking about things from your childhood, happiest memories,
So it's kind of like a diary, in a way?
Well, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to build that muscle of just getting comfortable writing in that way. Like intellectualizing or externalizing what it is that you have, that you're thinking about. And so that was one of the first key takeaways is, sit down every day at the same place and prompt yourself to start writing. And Lamont goes through like all the fidgety experiences and kind of like, you'll bounce your pencil around, you'll kind of get distracted, but she's like, just continue to sit and try to work on getting that out.
Cool.
Gabriel asked how I got started in UX. So I used to be a car designer. That's how I started my design career.
A car designer?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I started out designing cars, and then I basically, to get into UX, so I really liked so cars take a really, really long time. Like you're working on a project for 3 to 5 years, maybe 7 years until something actually manifests. And I really enjoyed the instant gratification of web in the sense that you can build something in a weekend and then have it out there. So I started spending time in coffee shops, designing logos, coming up with my own ideas. This was probably like 10 years ago. And, you meet people in cafes, they ask you questions, you start designing logos for people, come up with your own ideas. And then I started working at a startup with some friends. And that's pretty much, it was a really interesting transition because drawing cars is very different in regards to the fidelity and quality that you need to output in regards to UI and UX, but all the mediums are the same. I was using Photoshop, I was using Illustrator. So yeah, when it came down to just drawing boxes and buttons and things like that, I was like, oh my God, this is so easy. Like this is not, I don't need to rotate a 3-dimensional object in space in 5 different views and things like that. So that was, that's definitely like a moment that I can hold and I can remember as like a very monumental, happy moment for me.
Aw.
So that's how I got into UX. Artem, we're using the Muli font. Yep, Gabriel's got it.
Yes, Muli.
So
It's a Google font.
Kiara asks, why did writing become a thing for me? Are you doing the morning? Yes, so I am doing the morning practices. I think it became a thing because I spent a lot of time working with younger designers. I used to manage a team at Atlassian and growing graduate designers. And I feel like there's so much in the community that people need to share and talk about with what they do. And so one of the ways that I'd like to do that is by writing and sharing, practices, experiences, stories, anything that I can. I also like to intellectualize things in this way that they don't end up just sitting up in my head, taking up space, but I can kind of put them out there. And it's definitely something I struggle with. So I try to lean into those things that I really want to grow into.
You think you'll write a novel?
Yeah, it's so funny. Somebody asked me that recently. Maybe. I don't know. I've got some stories.
Autobiography?
I don't know. I do want to write a children's book. I think that'd be fun. Yeah.
It should be about elephants.
It could be about It could be. I don't know. So Artem asked, yeah, we've gotten a couple questions about the hamburger icon.
Okay.
So Artem, totally agree. Like there's all kinds of things you can consider when it comes to optimizing reach zones on mobile devices. Sometimes it's actually indicative of the information architecture and where things actually come from web into mobile. I think that even if you prioritize in the upper right-hand corner, you're still going to leave out all the dominant left-handed people. And it's important that we take, empathetic approaches to both. But yeah, I think that, in this case, putting it in the upper left-hand corner, I mean, we've certainly all seen the icon there before. It's a great choice. It helps connect the dots of the mental model to the user of where the navigation's coming from. So great thing. I think it could probably go either way. One of the things that we did talk about earlier in this session is that using that real estate in the upper right-hand corner can also be utilized for primary call to actions, closeouts, new navigation. And if we use that prime real estate for a hamburger icon, which may be clicked less than another action we would put in the high reach zone, then we have to kind of redesign or re-architect all that experience again. So yeah.
Good answer.
Kiara, yeah, I'd love to share some content when I get it out there.
Oh, good.
Some writing. And Dirk has a suggestion for anybody that wants to write a book. The book in the box method.
Oh, okay.
Agno, thanks for joining us again. We're less than 10 minutes away from the portfolio review.
Wow.
So far, we got a portfolio.
A? Uno?
See. Tim's on top of it. Hi, Yabi.
Yeah, when you're designing, try and make as many symbols as you can. Like, for example, I almost went in and just made this symbol white again, but I can just go and make this a symbol and drag it over to this screen.
Indeed. Boom.
There we go.
Magic. Oh, that's great, Andrea. Hopefully that helped out.
Yeah, this is going by pretty quick because now I'm just gonna drag over that same photo gallery that I did. It's gonna have the same photos, but we don't really have time to pick a bazillion photos for this, so.
That's too many. That's too many
It's a
photos.
lot.
That's,
It's a lot.
I don't even know how many zeros are in there, but there's too many.
Infinity. Why isn't it doing the little pink padding?
How's the design coming along? It's looking great.
It's coming along. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm just using all the same components, so I'm trying to bust through all these screens, and looks like I have a lot left, but this should go quickly because the ones over here have the same pattern as over here, so.
Cool. What would it look like if you took one of the screens and hit the play button now, like
Oh,
on mobile,
yeah.
just to try to do full screen? Just curious. And then if you hit the green, whoop,
Whoa.
boom.
Is it going to scroll? Okay. So this would be the home page. I guess now I can make sure if everything is legible. Looks like it is.
Magic. That's great.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you think it's looking good? What should I change? Anything I could change or improve? Any colors you don't like?
Karina says it looks amazing.
Thank you, Karina. Oop. And then again, I pulled this from the mock-ups I did earlier, or a couple days ago, but I'm just reusing this same organic shape up here, but I simplified it for mobile.
Kiara asked, I was wondering about the two call to actions placed on top of each other. Do they fight for the user's attention?
They could. Usually in an instance like that, I would do a solid color button and then maybe an outline button, and the solid color would be the most important call to action. But in this case, they're both kind of important, so it's just whatever the user is coming here to do. But usually you should have a button that is more important or the most important, and then either having, if you have to have another call to action, having a link under or having some sort of an outline button so that it's secondary. But I think both of these need to be primary, so.
Yeah. I think, if they're both important, then
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense. I think optimizing for, if you're utilizing kind of the mantra of minimal clicks or less than 3 clicks, it doesn't apply to everything, I guess. But really good question, Kara, and great observation. Saeed wanted to know what the grid is that you're using on mobile, or maybe what the margins are. Looks like it's over 20 pixels.
Yeah, the margins are 30 pixels. I just don't like when text or icons go too close to the edge on mobile. I think sometimes that can work, but for this project I wanted to do 30 pixels all around. And I'm not really using a grid for mobile. I think I have one on here, but yeah. And that's not even, actually, the padding on the outside is not correct.
And 20 pixels is pretty standard. 20 to 24 is pretty standard across both iOS and Material. So anything else above that's great.
So 30 is not standard.
Well, I mean, 30 is your personal preference on the web. But if you have native components, they're going to specify 20 to 24 on like native experiences. So like if you had like the system bar up above that showed how much battery you have left or time, some of those things are going to have a different margin as well, just because they're systems level. And we are 2 minutes away from the portfolio review. I think it's okay if we spend a little bit of time if you want to finish up some things, especially to kind of sum up the last 3 days. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the community as well, and supporting each other, cheering each other on. I think I just saw something about Airtable and Adobe XD today. Someone was asking about plugins.
Does Adobe XD have plugins yet?
I don't think they have plugins yet, but I know are some integrations. But yeah, I saw something on Twitter today about Airtable.
Oh.
And we're 10 seconds away from the portfolio deadline. What we could do is we could jump right into portfolio review.
Yeah, we can
and
do
put
that.
on our helmets.
Oh, okay.
Or we can kind of continue on the design. How are you feeling just in general? And that's it. We've hit the deadline. Thank you, everybody that submitted your ideas. Tim, is definitely going through the final stages of picking out the next submission.
Okay.
So yeah, just how are you feeling? How's progress? How's everything going with the designs?
Good. So right now, I think I've established colors for everything, and now I'm just dragging over. I got the 2 first screens design, and I'm just dragging over the same components to the pages that have the same layout. So that way, it's going to go by pretty quickly doing the rest of these screens because
Awesome.
I have a lot of repeat copy here.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's do the designs. No,
Oh,
yeah,
let's do-
please,
okay.
please continue.
Okay.
Tim's still gonna
Okay.
show us the final. I think we've got our final portfolio submission. We're gonna jump into portfolio submission. I want to make sure that Lauren has a little bit more time just to wrap up her designs. And
How much time is after portfolio submissions?
well, it just depends on how long we take
Oh, okay.
for the portfolio review. So we've got 2 portfolios we're gonna review. Thank you everybody that submitted your portfolios. Thanks for just being open to sharing your work and being open to the feedback. So yeah, we'll jump into that in just a little bit, and it'll be queued up by a video.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd love for you to just have a little bit more time to yourself just to finish up the designs, and then we can spend some time doing the portfolio review.
Sounds good.
Does anybody have any other questions for Lauren in regards to design, the systems, the buttons, color choices, where to find great photography for elements? For
Actually,
elephants?
now that you mentioned that, it's not. I mean, for elephants, I've just been pulling stuff from David Sheldrick
Okay.
and then their Facebook page. But a good free, I'm sure people know about this, but a good free stock website is Unsplash.
Hi, Farida. Thanks for joining us. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I like this website because it doesn't really look like stock photography, and it's just a little bit more abstract, and like you can tell when something is a bought stock image. So I like that these are a little bit more natural looking.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Oh, I'm just I'm learning. This is amazing. Lots of love for Unsplash. Very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So in the next 2 minutes, we'll jump into the portfolio review segment. We will be prompted by an amazing animation and motion sequence. And then we'll come back. We've got 2 portfolios to review, so just 2 minutes away. And then once we go through the portfolio review, we'll do a quick recap with Lauren, who's been here on day 3. This is her 3rd day with Adobe XD.
Can't believe it.
Just mowing through these designs, just doing incredible wireframes all the way up to high fidelity mock-ups. We're buttoning up a couple final designs, and then towards the end of the show, we can kind of just demonstrate and show all the great progress you've done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be awesome. I can't believe it either, Tim. The week is over. It's too fast.
And I was so worried that 2 hours was going to be too long. I need 3.
I'm excited to look at the portfolios. We'll do that in just 1
Yeah,
minute.
that should be good.
Anyone has a great source for fitness, sports-related free photography? Honestly, Kiara, Adobe Stock is a really, really great resource. I did a yoga or a mindfulness app in one of my segments on XD, and I was able to get some really, really great photography that had a yoga focus. So check out Adobe Stock. That's where I got all my stuff from, and you can start to filter and and find similar photos. All right, it's time.
It's time.
We need to start the sequence
Okay.
for the portfolio review. And we're back.
You're gonna suffocate.
No, the air's fine over here.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's all good. The air is fine.
Whew.
What'd you think of the animation sequence?
That was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, we did. Do you guys know who does? Have we shared the name of the person who does those? No? Maybe we can
no.
drop it in there. So we got helmets on, which means
We're in an actual aircraft.
It's time to
They
be-
don't know that, but
and so when or just a quick clarifying question. So we've got portfolios. Are we going to be going over all the work that's represented in the project? And so we'll probably kind of jump into a couple examples of work. And let's just start with one of our submissions, which is Gladstone Davis.
are you keeping this on?
Oh yeah, this is a thing. Gladstone, we got your portfolio up. Let me full screen this real quick. Whoop. And Bhavik Suthar will be our next segment. Is it tough to talk?
I'm having a hard time hearing with this on. I'm gonna.
Okay. We can we'll put this guy in here. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see. We've got couple examples of work here. Should we just start with number one? Anything that grabs
Yeah.
your attention? Okay. Overall, I mean, really, really nice body of work. It looks like there's quite a
Oh, it's a video.
few pieces of work here. Yeah, I bumped the mic.
So, is this designer? What industry are they in? Are they a UX designer, visual designer?
Let's take a look.
do we know?
Gladstone, if you're in the chat, let us know a little bit about yourself. We'd love to hear a little bit more about you and your background. So let's just click the video.
Reminds me of a Pinteresty type feel.
How so? With the cards and the content
just
below?
the cards and the way they scroll. They kind of have that those uneven tiles.
Awesome. So, I mean, definitely bonus points for the video. I think it's really
Yeah.
great to kind of just be able to encompass, hey, here's all the work that I'm going to demonstrate, but by the way, I put it in a kind of a workable prototype. So I think
Yes.
that's a really, really nice way to just allow the audience to kind of gain context and see what your prototype and design is. And I'm actually able to scroll in here. Awesome.
Very nice.
So feedback? Thoughts, ideas, improvements, areas of opportunity?
I do. I think, and it's the same when we reviewed the last project yesterday. But I think adding some breathing room with text is really important, like in your card below the images. Just adding a little more padding and breathing room for the text, I think, would really open it up and be easily scannable. Because as people are scrolling down these, for example, like if you're on Pinterest, you want to easily be able to see what the product is, if there's like a brief description about it. What are your thoughts?
Great stuff. So, I mean, overall, as just a representation of work or kind of a final design, I think it's a really nice example of like a complete design. I think, any type of context into maybe the why or the what of how you got here.
Yeah.
I think I saw
yeah.
previously that you mentioned you were a visual designer going into UI. So UI, you're focusing on kind of the interactions, the interface, hierarchy, the way that we're going to kind of read and process the information. So the left to right and the juxtaposition of content, I think, is really, really nice. Execution and the full bleed imagery and the high contrast is really nice. I agree. I think that white space could definitely be something that you could explore. But overall, I think it's, as I mentioned, it's a really nice representation of a finished visual design.
Yeah, but you're right. Maybe putting like a brief description of the process you went through to get here, just so people can see your thought process behind how you get to your final product would be, I'm sure, be helpful for other people too.
Yep. Cool. Let's pick another project from Gladstone. Anything stand out to you that you'd like to?
Maybe one of the phone screens.
Voyager sign in?
Sure.
Let's do it. Since we're on the space theme.
Right.
Awesome. So again,
Cool.
we're demonstrating kind of a prototype, which is great.
Yeah, I like when I click on something that catches my eye, and then it blows up, and it's a scrolling prototype. That's really nice.
Yeah, so overall, really nice composition. I like the way that you're showing the phone in situ, especially next to kind of the astronaut mannequins or props. I think it's really, really cool. The prototype looks nice, very simple. One of the things I did that kind of stuck out to me right when I saw the prototype were the primary sign-up, sign-in buttons looked a little low contrast. So maybe it could just be the output of how you exported the content. It could be a design decision. But that was something, it just seemed, overall the app felt really, really, really dark. And so the images are popping, which is really, really nicely, but you want to make sure that, especially in regards to interface, that your buttons are standing out. Appreciate it. Boom. And let's do, I think we got some time. Let's do one more from Mr. Glad. Is it a Mrs.? Mr. Gladstone Davis?
Sure.
What do you think?
What's that teal one?
This one?
Yeah.
Visage.
Is it a logo? Or
Cool. So it looks like we're getting into a little bit more context. Visage means face. Very happy to share that Visage was an idea bloomed and created as part of the most inspiring Adobe XD challenge. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So again, really nice showing the content on the devices.
Yes, definitely. So this was a video app or video app.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the icon. I mean, I'm always drawn to gradients, and I think it's a very up-to-date trend. So I'm glad you did that.
Yeah. Little things like this I think are really nice, especially when you're optimizing for reach zones. So the fact that you're showing an expanded call to action that is in a high touch area, I think that's just really, especially getting into interface, that's a really nice execution, really nice imagery. Got some features, logos, really nice composition.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to share a lot about your process. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I like how this one kind of tells the story of how he came to all the screens, or he or she.
So yeah, really nice expanded view just of your process, the details.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely shows a lot of intention. It's great to see how you're elaborating on the actions as well. Really nice submission, Gladstone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's
Looks great.
Really nice. Boom. All right. Let's go on to Bobik. Alrighty.
How about that purple?
This one.
Yeah.
Boom. Cool.
I like how he did the layout of this.
What do you like about the layout?
Well, it's just more interesting to see it like this instead of having your typical screens going vertically.
Mm-hmm.
I think it adds a very nice touch to it.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see like the device as maybe you would see it in real life, kind of laying on its side. I think for me as someone who's viewing this work, and it's just this image, things that come into mind are, I kind of strain to read the text.
Yeah.
So do you want me to actually read this and try to absorb the content, or is this more like a marketing image where you would see this maybe in an app store, and at that point it would make sense to show it in that type of situation? But yeah, I agree. Like the fact that the background colors and the foreground colors of the app are all blending together, compositionally, it's a nice, cohesive. It's kind of like monochromatic in some ways.
Yeah. But I think that's a good image to have as like a thumbnail too, because it definitely catches your eye when you do layouts like this.
Totally. Let's see, I'll pick one. Let's see, this one's got e-commerce app UI design. Cool. So this, again, looks like a really good body of work. Looks like you're trying to demonstrate the overall screens and potentially the experience. Overall, like really consistent with primary call to action colors and kind of the yellow header. So it looks like, you're covering a lot of the content. Forms look nice, screens look nice, pill shape. Everything's really, really consistent.
Yeah, I would say again, like how we said for the other one, maybe having a longer scrolling image of how you came to some of these screens, and then maybe calling out certain features of the screen so people can understand what the app does a little bit more.
Yeah, additional context, additional information about the why, always very, very helpful. What do you think? Do you have another one you'd like to see?
I'll let you choose.
Let's do the website for a designer. So this looks like a landing page.
I like how it's a little bit different to have the social icons on the left there. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this looks like a really nice start to potentially what could be someone's portfolio website or landing page. The gradient overlay with kind of the people imagery adds a really nice like tertiary element of just kind of in the background. The read more button stands out very clearly. Analysis and wireframes looks like it's very clear. You're using call to actions and click colors all in a cohesive manner. So yeah, really nice color palette. The teals and the purples work really, really well together.
Yeah, it looks great.
Really nice Bhavik.
I'd like to see maybe what else this website would entail, like maybe a couple other pages or a little bit more to this homepage. Yeah.
Yep. Great. Alrighty. Thank you so much for everybody that submitted
you guys.
portfolios. Hopefully the feedback was helpful. It's really, really great that everybody was able to actually submit some ideas. Tim, thank you so much for going through the process and picking out some really, really great representations of work. So hopefully the feedback was helpful. All right. So
we're back.
let's do it.
How much time do I have?
So we have about 7 minutes.
Okay.
I think it would be awesome if you needed a little bit more time, but also just to share kind of what the final outcome is. Definitely, if anybody's just joining us, we've got Lauren Waters here. It's day 3 on Adobe XD. We've been focused on UI and UX. We've been redesigning the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, which is a trust aimed at helping foster
Orphaned animals.
Yeah.
Specifically
But not
elephants.
not just
and,
elephants. We learned today. Giraffes, rhinos,
Yes.
all kinds
You're
of baby
right.
things.
Yeah, so I'm just going to continue to finish up the UI on the rest of the mobile screens. Hopefully I get it done. And then I'm just going to do a simple prototype of how the user would do the flow of the screens or go through the flow of the screens.
Eric, you'll have another opportunity for a portfolio review in the next segment. We've just had Josh and Michael enter the room, so they'll be coming up at 1 p.m. But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing your work. Thanks so much for participating in the community and chatting. It's been great. Does anybody have any questions before we'll be wrapping up in the next 5 minutes?
Bust through these.
Thanks, Manir. Thank you, everybody. It's very humbling.
They love you.
Oh my gosh, so many amazing colors.
It's kind of a lot going on here, but kind of liking it. What are you always laughing about? Over
Oh,
there?
I just like say little funny things in my head all
you're
the
talking
time.
to yourself?
Yeah, basically. This stuff is so amazing. Like I always get, like especially when you do really, really great thorough wireframes that have the padding, the spacing, all the text is there, and then sometimes all it takes is little splashes of color, great photography that just kind of brings everything together. It's really amazing how you can kind of turn on the design. It's like a light switch. It's pretty awesome. And really, really, really wonderful execution.
Thank you.
On all the colors, all the UI. There's a lot of things that are happening in these designs in regards to the header styles, the use of body, the composition. There's a lot of really, really great things that are happening that are definitely, worth taking note of in regards to Lauren's execution.
Thank you.
We've got 2 minutes left before we've got to sign off.
Oh no.
So.
Okay. Well, actually, I think I can probably do this really fast.
It could also just be nice just to view it actually as like, the full screen experience as opposed to, I know the prototyping is definitely one of the hugely benefits, but time permitting, it might be nice just for us to get a closer look at the designs that you've been able to work on. Also, like as you zoom out, there's the web compositions, there's the mobile compositions. There's so much work here. David Sheldrick would be proud. Rahib asked if you are a UI designer or UX.
I am both. I'm a hybrid UI UX designer because I started off as a visual designer and then I kind of just inevitably went into the path of UX to UX design, just because a lot of the projects I would work on at work entailed me to do UX design. And I really enjoyed that part of it, so I would learn a lot from my team members and everything. And so that led me to the path to be a hybrid designer.
Cool. So guys, we're going to be signing off in 30 seconds. Thank you so much for joining us on Adobe XD. We've had Lauren Waters here do an incredible job taking through wireframes to final design. We really got some beautiful, beautiful work done over the next couple days. Make sure to watch the videos. Again, if you want to get a refresher, we've got Josh Awata and Michael Chase coming up next. Lauren, thank you so much.
Thank you. I didn't even get to show my screens, but it's okay.
That's all good.
All right, well, I will post this on my Behance if you guys want to check out the final design for the desktop and mobile app that I redesigned for David Sheldrick, and let me know if you guys like it on there.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye.